Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're not just looking at the nuts and bolts of GitHub Actions and CI/CD. We are actually going a whole layer deeper. We're unpacking the exact blueprint used to teach this stuff in TestCraft episode 35. So, we're going to look at the raw behind-the-scenes development notes, the episode structure, and their whole production strategy to see exactly how they distill really complex technical concepts into this focused, engaging explainer. It's going to be super fascinating to see the technical subject matter right alongside the educational architecture that makes it work.
Here's our agenda, which, by the way, perfectly mirrors TestCraft's own module-by-module notes. We'll cover the power of CI, triggering automated tests, the fail-fast philosophy, configuring YAML workflows, and finally, TestCraft's production blueprint.
Now, I want you to hold this thought in your head for a second. What if your code tested itself the absolute second you hit push? For the developers out there, you already know what a massive quality of life upgrade continuous integration is. Just imagine completely removing that anxiety of, oh man, did my latest commit just break the build? Imagine just stepping away from your keyboard, knowing an automated system has your back. Well, that's exactly the reality we're exploring today.
Section 1. The power of CI.
So, according to the key learning points in the TestCraft fundamentals, GitHub Actions basically gives you continuous integration and continuous deployment, or CI/CD, natively built right into GitHub. And honestly, the significance of this cannot be overstated. We're not talking about duct taping some clunky third-party tool to your repo. This is about bringing advanced automation directly to where your code already lives. Your repository isn't just some digital storage locker anymore. It becomes a dynamic, active participant in your whole development lifecycle.
Section 2. Triggering automated tests.
The TestCraft outline actually recommends dedicating 2 to 3 minutes just to shift from theory to practice. So let's look at how this functions in the real world. Step 1, you push your code, or maybe you open a pull request. Step 2, that specific action natively triggers a GitHub action. Step 3, your automated tests start running quietly in the background. And step 4, you get automated feedback. I mean, just think about the efficiency here. You don't have to manually boot up a massive testing suite or run command line checks before asking your team for a review. The environment itself does all the heavy lifting and gives you immediate feedback on whether your changes are safe.
Section 3. The fail-fast philosophy. So the crucial point is that failing early is actually a developer's absolute best friend. Let's compare these two realities for a second. On one side, you've got the fail-fast method from our source's key learning points. This means you spot your issues immediately upon commit. You write the code, you push, it fails, and boom, you fix it while that logic is still completely fresh in your brain. On the flip side, we have the find-out-later approach. And look, we've all been there, right? It's literally 4:59 p.m. on a Friday, you're packing your bag, and suddenly you're dragged into this agonizing bug hunt for a merge that happened hours ago. The code is totally stale, you've forgotten the context, and finding the root cause is just a nightmare. Failing fast saves time, saves money, and honestly, it saves your sanity.
Section 4, configuring YAML workflows. Now that we've got the philosophy down, we need to talk about the actual configuration that makes this magic happen. The source material points straight to YAML workflow files. For anyone newer to this, YAML is just a human-readable data serialization language. But in the world of GitHub Actions, these YAML files are the actual instructions running the whole engine. They are literally your control center. Inside these files, you tell the system exactly what triggers the action, like a push, and what exact steps the automated servers need to take to run your tests. It's basically the connective tissue between your code and the automation environment.
Section 5. TestCraft's production blueprint. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can pull back the curtain and see exactly how they structure a 15-minute educational script around these highly technical concepts.
The TestCraft blueprint maps out this highly intentional timeline. They start right at minute 0 with a sharp 30-second intro to hook you and give a quick preview. Then, from the 30-second mark all the way to minute 14, that's the main content block, which they slice up into 5 or 6 distinct sections with real examples. Finally, at minute 14, they pivot to a quick 1-minute outro for a recap and a call to action. It's so strategic. They bookend 13.5 minutes of incredibly dense technical content with a snappy intro and a really concise outro.
Zooming in a bit, look at the internal pacing of that main content block. The development notes strictly mandate breaking complex subjects into these focused 2 to 3 minute chunks. Defining the topic gets 2 to 3 minutes. Core concepts, 2 to 3 minutes. Practical application, another 2 to 3 minutes, followed by real examples, and then best practices and gotchas. Every single piece is carefully contained within that tight time frame before wrapping up with tools and next steps for 1 to 2 minutes. This modular approach is just brilliant because it totally prevents the audience from getting overwhelmed. Just as you start feeling fatigued by theory, bam, the script shifts you right into practical application.
And the planning doesn't stop at the script. The source gives us this massive dual checklist for production and promotion. On the production side, the creator writes a conversational script about 2,300 words to hit that perfect 150 word per minute pace. Then it's creating graphics, B-roll, animations, recording the talking head, editing, color grading, adding captions, designing a thumbnail, and doing SEO. And at the exact same time on the promotion side, they're pulling 3 to 5 sound bites, building LinkedIn carousels, filming Instagram reels, and writing a Twitter thread. The sheer amount of foundational work required to launch one of these tech explainers is just staggering. To really appreciate it, let's break down the time and human resources behind the scenes. According to the blueprint, writing that script takes 2 to 3 hours. Filming is another 1 to 2 hours. Editing, 2 to 3 hours. Plus, they explicitly call out needing a dedicated team. A graphics designer for the infographics, and a video editor for production. It just reinforces that making a complex topic like CI/CD look effortless actually takes a specialized team and over 5 hours of intensive labor per explainer.
Which brings us full circle. The Testcraft team is spending hours meticulously planning and producing all this content so that you can learn to save time in your own workflows by embracing continuous integration, setting up those YAML workflows, and really adopting that fail-fast philosophy. You eliminate so much manual drudgery. So I leave you with this. With GitHub Actions handling all the testing in the background, what will you build with the hours you save? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I can't wait to see what you create.